Hello, my name is Monica Ferre, and I would like to be a Search Inside Yourself facilitator because I feel that I have a lot to share with others in regards to mindfulness and building resiliency. A major life experience that I had happened about 10 years ago. I'm born and raised in San Francisco, and I had tremendous losses through gun violence and early deaths of family and loved ones. It was through this tragic loss that I found myself in a very dark place. I had turned to therapy and healing groups. However, they weren't helping as much as I felt they could. It was in this space that I found the practice of meditation and mindfulness. I began practicing meditation, and at first, sitting for a minute felt like eternity, lost in myself and in the world that surrounded me. I kept practicing, regardless of how difficult it seemed at times and how challenging it was for me to stay in my space in my present moment. I practiced mantras, I began Reiki, I began massage, and also sound healing through Tibetan sound bowls. In that process, I had a community member come and ask me what changes had happened, what I was doing that was making me feel so much better. I shared with them that I was practicing meditation, and she had asked me if I would share some of my meditation practices in a group that was being offered in her facility. I practiced a few times, and the residents and the participants there really appreciated it. It was then that I was asked to begin my own meditation class. At first, when I proposed the class, I had just a few participants, probably from the past class, and they actually followed me over. I had asked a developer that was coming into the Public Housing Association if they would somehow find a way to include us in their community calendar. At first, I was told that it probably wouldn't be something that residents would have much interest in or growth. However, I went forward and I volunteered my own time and found a space that I was able to practice with others. I began doing it once a week, and from there, the class actually grew to 2 times a week. I first had just a few residents from public housing that would attend, and eventually it grew to 20, and we outgrew our space, at which time I went to find another space in a larger community facility in Potrero Hill. As I still conducted that class, I was asked to create a family laid-back night with Healthy Generations Project and began practicing mindfulness with children and their parents and guardians. The focus was 0 to 5. However, it quickly became evident to me that the children and the youth and the teens had a vested interest in this and wanted to practice and teach the younger children themselves. So as a part of some of the trainings that I had done there, we had worked in part in incorporating yoga and breathing practices, and really started practicing some poses in which the children and youth were able to create some of their own names for their own poses and practice with each other. Since then, I've been developing my practices through Reiki, practicing my own mantras, and doing a lot of other practices like forest bathing or walking the labyrinth, and also just doing various walking meditations or guided meditations through a variety of means, whether it's online as part of a group or just seeking out some that I'm able to purchase and practice at home. I found through this a great aha moment that in finding a way to sit with myself and be able to meditate and persevere through the pains and practice a new way, I was able to overcome many barriers that were set before me, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I've now come to realize that even if it just takes a couple of minutes to sit something aside and focus on my breath, on my present moment, that it helps settle things down. And finding that space to sit inside myself and realize that my response to the experiences that I have is just a response, and that the experience and the responses don't actually make me who I am. And I hope to be able to share this knowledge that I've learned for myself with others. I understand that everyone has different ways in which they find their own mindfulness and in which they share their own practices. And I hope to be able to help others and learn from others as well through being a facilitator for Search Inside Yourself.